All right, everybody, welcome back to another sweeper here in Newton, Kansas. I'm Packy Hanrahan, and I'm actually going to be reviewing this, and we're going to be doing a little live reaction while I'm bowling, telling you maybe going through my moves, what happened, what was going well, what was going bad, what I can learn from, and maybe what you guys can learn from too. So we got a 4-game sweeper up at Newton on the Dick Weber pattern, or the PBA Dick Weber pattern, which is a longer pattern. However, the gutter usually plays pretty good here. It usually hooks a little bit, and if you can get your ball to hook early enough, specifically with the urethane ball, if I can get it to hook, usually that tends to be the play here. So before I talk too much about my ball reaction, let's just get right into it. Starting off the video, also huge shout out to Mark Janak for videoing this for me. It was a massive help. But you can see here we got black hammer off the gutter. Kind of when I leak it left, it actually almost overhooks. It was like the pattern had this, this area where if I hit 3, 4, 5, maybe even down lane, when I get it out to 3, 4, 5, it really sits in there pretty nice. And if I get it out to 1, 2, sometimes it tends to overhook. You saw this one on the right lane on lane 4 was a little bit further in, and it actually, light mixed, where the couple a little further left actually crack off it and almost like try and trip a 6 or really, really go flush in the pocket. But yeah, I actually drilled a 16-pound black hammer. I put a really tall pin on it. I really, really, really wanted this thing to hook a ton because I have a 16-pound black hammer that doesn't hook so much, that I drilled pretty weak, that I can keep in front of me and throw harder. I have a 15-pound one that hooks, but the core numbers on the 16-pounder, yeah, that's when you know I'm focused, when I actually balk during the tournament. But yeah, I wanted a 16-pounder that really hooks. So I have a 16-pounder now that hooks, this one. I have a 16-pounder that I can play straighter, keep in front of me, and throw a little firmer speed. And then I also have a 15-pounder that both hooks and doesn't hook. That way I have 4 of them. I can kind of gear it towards the patterns. You see that game, 248. But yeah, I literally drilled it at this bowling alley before we bowled. I just wanted to make sure that I had a good spread, because I know my 15-pounder that hooks looks really good, but if I could get the 16-pounder, which has, double the diff, it actually is going to hook twice as much core-wise. So it'll be earlier, slower, smoother, all of that sort of stuff that can help me, especially on a pattern like this one, the long pattern, actually shape up the ball and not have those misses in, like I saw right here. That miss in kind of hits the pocket. It might try and wiggle with the pattern, but it actually comes back and hits the pocket. Either way, 248 game 1. Game 1 scores are always crazy high in this building. 248 game 1, actually, I was the second highest scratch score, but the 5th with handicap. So I cashed for the scratch part of it, but I actually didn't cash for the handicap part of it. And for those of you who are new here or who have never watched one of these Newton Sweeper vlogs, it's a really cool format. It's 4 games. You cash every game almost like you're just playing for the high gain each game. And then you also can cash overall at the end of the tournament. So it's kind of that, even if I'm out of it and I've bowled really bad for 3 games, I can still make my money back game 4, which I think is really cool. You see me here struggling a little bit early to get the carry on this game, but we bounce back here with a little rolled 3. But this is where I started to see I might be a little too far right with my feet. So you see me roll the 3-pin, next shot strikes. The only thing I did was I just slowed my speed down. So I stayed in the same spot and slowed my speed down. It's something I've been working on a lot lately. And with that, you see me get really excited because, yeah, I've been working on trying to slow the speed down instead of moving left and firing it up the friction and oil line. I'm actually just trying to really work on throwing it slower and slower and slower to get my ball to make the right shape instead. This game, 248. Wait, did I show back-to-back 248s? I did. I had back-to-back 248s. So we went back-to-back 248s. That game, I saw a little bit more of the transition, you would say. Maybe it was fresh. I was bowling with 2 other lefties on my pair, which not something that usually happens. So after that 10 minutes of practice, that first pair was definitely hooking with another lefty throwing a reactive ball to the left of me, or two lefties throwing reacting balls to the left of me. One of them was two-handed, so higher rev rate. But overall, my adjustments, I was really happy to see that I was able to throw it slower. I was posting my shots. I was staying consistent, which is something that a couple of you guys have mentioned in the comments, like, hey, you're falling off balance a bunch, blah, blah, blah. It's something that I always kind of have to work on, being 6'4" and two-handed. Something that, always is one of those triggers for me. I get a little too much spine tilt, and then I start falling off balance. So for me, I was trying to stay upright, make sure I keep the speed nice and slow, and work on using a speed adjustment instead of moving left and right, trying to get my ball to hook earlier and make sure when I miss in, it still hooks by throwing it slower instead of by just bumping my feet left and firing it up against that friction line like I have been in previous tournaments. So that's something that I was really glad to see that actually worked. Now let's see if it can work going forward. I don't know, but there's only one way to find out, and that would be bowling game 3. Oh, as for game 2, score-wise, I did win the scratch portion and the handicap portion game 2 with a matching 248. Just scores go down because you're on a new pair. Luckily for me, I matched my score the exact same. So I'm moving on to game 3 here on lanes 7 and 8. Not my best effort out the gate. Little left, 8 pinned, but I'll take an 8 pin. You saw the balance just slip up a little bit. That shot right there, way better. Yeah, the scores went way down. I was high with 248, second 232, and then 231 and 221. So obviously the scores dropped massively game 2, and usually it just kind of hangs around after whatever that game 2 score is. It's a pretty good indication of what the score is going to be for the rest of the night. So they'll still be pretty high. Once again, you see the miss in, kind of 3-pin wiggles a little bit. So now I think even though I'm throwing it slower, especially after trying to hook at the spare and throwing it slower on the spare shot, I probably do have to move a little left. I don't have to throw it any harder, but I definitely have to move a little bit left because this pair is just straight up tight. I don't know if I'm following any lefties because this was about a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, so I'm not 100% sure how many lefties, if I'm following lefties. But I do know that these lanes are getting tight, so I'm really, really, really going to have to make sure that the speed is extra slow on this upcoming game. And I'll be surprised if it's not the exact same game 4. I think I could have doubled in the 10th there for 240. You see me ship one way to the left and it overhooks. But nonetheless, 221 for me, which was a cashing score, which was nice. 227 was the first place score. 221 for me. Connor Yan shot 219. Alex George and another guy, Bobby Drake, shot 217. So a cashing score that game, and I saw even more of that over-under. So I'm going to try and, instead of going back left, I think I'm actually going to move back right a little bit, just a little bit though, not much, and really slow the speed down. Just really test myself here. I should be in first, but it's nice to bowl with a lead and make yourself do something that you think you need to practice, because it's easy to go out and bowl and just do what you're comfortable with, but it's not always easy to go out, bowl, and do something that you're trying to practice and trying to work on during competition. So this is my during competition practice. I know we've talked about this before on the channel, but my during competition practice where I actually get to test some of the skills that I've been working on this week. This week, I really wanted to throw urethane. I really wanted to throw it really, really slow because in previous weeks, I was actually not throwing urethane. I was trying to get away from the urethane, trying to work on my reactive game. And then here we are on a longer pattern, and I actually flip-flop the script, and I try to work on slowing my speed down, posting shots just like that one right there, and actually curving the lane a little bit with my speed instead of with ball or surface or whatnot. But this is a much better game. You see me post a bunch of shots. I'm getting into it knowing that the score is the last game. I think George is bowling a really good game this game, so I'm trying to lock in here and post as many shots as I can. And every shot when I come back off the approach, you see me come back looking up, staring at the speed to make sure my speed is still on point. I think I was looking to try and throw it about 15.2, maybe even 14.8 at this point, but just gearing down, down, down. So for all of you guys working out there and looking to work on your game, I think that this is one of the hardest, or it's one of the biggest differences between amateur bowlers and pro bowlers. One, it's their ball roll. You know, almost all pro bowlers roll it more forward and more up the back than amateurs. And number two, the thing that separates the greatest from the middle of the pack guys is their ball speed control. You know, they can 7-pin, throw it a quarter-mile-an-hour faster, move in one with their feet, and get that set and snap the 7-outer for you righties the 10-out. It's that ability to throw it a little slower, like that, on command, where they don't have to worry about moving in, moving left. They can just slow the speed down or speed up to get their ball to make the right shape. You saw 256 that game. I actually tied for the high game with TJ Rock. So I cashed out for the high game. I also won the sweeper on the handicap and the scratch side for totals. So yeah, I appreciate you guys sticking along, watching to the end of this video. Learning with me was an absolute blast, and I hope you guys can learn something from me, or you guys just have fun watching me make fun of myself and learn from myself on lanes, make mistakes, have success. I appreciate you guys for sticking along to the end. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, let's run this channel up to 25,000 subs because we just hit 200,000 subs on the main channel, which is so exciting. We're giving away 6 bowling balls over there, and we'll give away more bowling balls over here. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.